Hello everyone, I'm Meteorologist Charlie Ironmonger. Thank you so much for joining me today for your 2 p.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. Now before we get into your news, do want to highlight what we are tracking in the tropics, and that of course is Hurricane Erin. The latest numbers as of the 2 o'clock update, we do have tropical storm watches up for the northern Antilles, areas around St. Martin and Gila. Right now under that tropical storm watch. Right now, maximum sustained winds holding at 75 miles an hour, gusts at 90 miles an hour, but pressure has dropped. As of the 11 a.m. update, the latest one, we were looking at pressure at 996 millibars. We continue to see pressure drop, now down at 993 millibars. Now that may not mean much, but the lower that pressure gets, the faster the winds are going to be forced to spin around that low pressure system. Now you can clearly see this is not a very well organized hurricane. We've got quite a bit of dry air infiltration within the middle of that system. That's why again it's looking a little bit more ragged. It's moving west at 17 miles an hour, which, to be fair, is a fairly fast clip for a hurricane or just a tropical cyclone in general. But let's take you to the overall track, because that's where, again, a lot of the concern lies for us here in eastern North Carolina. The system is still expected to become a major hurricane as we head towards Sunday morning, potentially by 2 a.m., but right now it's looking certainly more likely as we head towards around, I would say, 8 o'clock in the morning. 125 mile an hour maximum sustained winds once the system again is just off to the north of Puerto Rico. From there it continues to intensify. Wind speeds going from 125 up to 140 miles an hour early Monday morning as the system will just be off to the northeast of the Turks and Caicos Islands. From there it continues to curve between Cape Hatteras and Bermuda as we head through your Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, the overall wind speeds may come down a touch, but it's important to note that the whole system itself right now is expected to stay about 200 to 300 miles off of the coast of Cape Hatteras. That is encouraging news. Now, unfortunately, that does put us in a danger zone for higher rip current threats for all area beaches as we head into Wednesday, but on Tuesday, I would say high rip current threats for all southern or southeasterly facing beaches. Those of you watching essentially south of Cape Hatteras are really going to start to feel that wave energy crash up along the coast as we head into your Tuesday morning. Again, this is going to be a Category 4 hurricane, so while we're not going to experience the winds itself, the waves that those winds generate will be felt by eastern North Carolinians along the coast. Now, here's a look at exactly what winds are expected to do. Again, we can kind of get a good idea of the track of this system, but as it again slowly works its way kind of between that Hatteras and Bermuda channel, it's a fairly big channel, but you know what, we'll take it. We're going to see wind speeds along the Outer Banks reach around tropical storm force levels. Probably going to be staying shy of hurricane force gusts, but it will certainly be windy along the Outer Banks, and that's going to lead to not only, again, high surf and a higher rip current threat, but beach erosion could certainly be an issue. The good news is this looks like it's going to be a fairly fast-moving system, so getting in and out of the mid-Atlantic region is certainly nice. The faster that happens, the better it is for us. But again, I do still anticipate some lingering effects even as we head into your Friday and Saturday as the system pulls away from the coast. A lot of the wave energy that is going to be generated by Erin will still remain along our coastline even as we head into the upcoming, well, not this coming weekend, but the following weekend. Again, this is not this Friday, but this is next Friday. So we're still about a week away, maybe about 5 to 7 days from experiencing the worst of Erin. So if you haven't done so already, I'm not saying you need to with this storm, but it's always a good idea to make sure you have those hurricane kits all stocked up and prepared. Do quickly want to say good afternoon to Amanda Bloom. Thank you so much for joining me over on Facebook. And yeah, the sun is nice, but the muggy feeling is absolutely there. Couldn't agree more, Amanda. Coming up this weekend, though, we're actually going to see dew points drop, and that should reduce that muggy feeling. It's not going to wipe it away completely, but it will knock it down a bit. Do want to highlight, of course, we are tracking some rain showers around the Outer Banks and the Pamlico Sound. Not a lot of rain present, but certainly some, and do want to at least let you know about it if you are getting out and about, maybe running some errands later on today, and say you're watching from Hyde County or even the Outer Banks. Do note again that those rain showers will linger here for, I would say, at least another 10 to about 30 minutes or so. Current air temperatures reading in the mid to upper 80s throughout most of eastern North Carolina. A few of us enjoying the low 90s. Windsor, Swan Quarter, and Stumpy Point looking at you three. But overall, again, it's not just your air temperatures that have risen, but humidity has risen as well. And that's why we are tracking more of a heat index at this point in the game than where we were about a week ago or even just a few days ago. It so far has been a very cool and comfortable August, especially when compared to the hot and sweltering heat we had to deal with back in July. Now, as we head through the rest of August, we'll see again if we get back into that July type feel. Right now, everything's trending like we're going to head back towards normal. But over this weekend, these numbers, your humidity is going to be taking a dive because of a low pressure system off of our coast. Now, over the past 24 hours, the humidity has taken a little bit of a dip. You'll note again, most areas reporting around a 1 to 4 degree dew point drop over the past 24 hours. That makes it feel more comfortable. The more negative signs you see on this map, the better it will feel for us. So again, what's the reason for it? Northerly winds. Northerly winds do a great job of bringing in that cooler and drier air, and that's what we're expecting more of as we make our way from Saturday into Sunday. That low will again continue to just pull air down out of the north to northeast, and that's going to bring in that drier air that makes us feel far more comfortable. So that's what we have to look forward to over the weekend. However, that low pressure system that is going to give us the relief will still be close enough to eastern North Carolina to promote maybe a few light showers and maybe a moderate downpour or two coming up Saturday morning through Saturday afternoon. It's going to be spotty. Not everyone's going to see it. Right now, giving it about a 30% chance of rain, maybe that going up to 40. But everything is going to be drying out. And Saturday, whenever we talk about a drop in humidity, we always kind of throw in a transition day. Saturday is going to be our transition day. That's what's going to take us again from humid conditions early Saturday morning. You'll note those overnight lows, 73 degrees tonight into tomorrow morning. And then those drop to 68 degrees Saturday night into Sunday morning. And whenever you have those overnight lows in the upper 60s, the following day feels significantly more comfortable. And note, coming up next week, as Aaron rolls by, Aaron's going to be a much stronger area of low pressure, but the same sort of effects pulling in a lot of that air out of the northeast as it moves by off of our coast will pull in, ironically, some drier air. So it's kind of weird that, of course, we get another push of drier air coming in off of a tropical system. But you know what? We'll take it if we can get it. It's one of those that you don't usually look for benefits whenever you have a hurricane pass by. But this one, Aaron, may actually give us some benefits. The problem is that our coastline, particularly the Outer Banks, are really going to be exposed to some danger and some beach erosion. So again, if you are spending time along the coast coming up next week, make sure, again, you understand the dangers that are going to be there. You're looking at limited travel in a car if you are all along the Outer Banks, and I anticipate ferry services may be suspended at times. High surf and, again, high rip current threats mean that most of you probably shouldn't be getting into the water. I think there's going to be maybe a select group of like surfers, experienced swimmers who may go out, but I would advise everyone to stay out of the water and just to watch from the beach a lot of those big, massive waves from Aaron crash along our coastline. Now, we do want to shift our attention to some of the news that has been happening across eastern North Carolina, starting out with a drug investigation in Kinston. There's a look at some of the men who have been arrested in that drug and gun investigation. This happened at a convenience store. Police say on Wednesday they executed a search warrant alongside North Carolina alcohol law enforcement agents at 1404 Old Snow Hill. Now, Google Maps says that's the site of the U.S. Mini Mart. Investigators say inside the business they found nearly 2.5 ounces of marijuana, digital scales, packaging materials, a handgun, and $362. Now, police arrested and charged Kamal Alzanan, and 36 years old of Kinston, and they say he was behind the register with the items. Now, he was charged with felony possession of marijuana, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, possession with intent to sell or deliver marijuana, possession of drug paraphernalia, sell and deliver marijuana, and felony conspiracy to sell or deliver marijuana, 3 counts. Now, Wednesday's investigation at the business led to the execution of a second search warrant in the 1400 block of St. James Place. Inside the home, police say they found multiple handgun magazines, over $100,000 in U.S. currency, 5.5 pounds of marijuana edibles, passports, and identification documents. Police say they have warrants for the arrest of Abdullah Ahmed and Ihab Abdullah for multiple counts of sell and deliver marijuana and felony conspiracy. The investigation remains ongoing, according to police. And then we turn our attention to Bertie County, where the child welfare services are being taken over by the state for a second time. Now, effective today, the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services will assume responsibility for child services at the Bertie County DSS. In 2022, the state took over the county's child welfare services because of major concerns that it found. Now, that lasted about 2 years. The state says it began looking at child welfare services in the county in December after the death of a child previously involved with DSS. DHHS says its concerns were magnified after looking into how the county operated child welfare services. DHHS staff will be on site during this interim period, working closely with the county staff to manage and stabilize child welfare services, according to a news release. Now, this is the 5th time the state has taken over a county's DSS, and the first time a county DSS has been taken over twice. That's all we have time for today's 2 p.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. We'll be back with more news and weather coming up at the top of the hour. Until then, I hope you all have a fantastic Friday.